Morning.
And starting the day with fires, you know?
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, it's never, it's I always think about this at the gym too. When they tell me to get on the tread and it's time to run, you really figure out how your body feels today. And I'm always thinking like, gosh, where is this pain in my right leg coming from? What did I do? Why wasn't it here yesterday? And I don't know why I always correlate back to business. And I'm just thinking like, it's just like business, exactly what you guys do. You can have the mindset and the game plan to move right in and you think we know what we're going to do. And just a curveball comes out of right field. And you're like, where did the hell did this come from? And that pain. And then trying to figure out, okay, now it just derailed your entire calendar. So now you got to focus to put out this fire before you can go on and do what your intentions were for the day. But I guess that's life. That's life. You just never know. So, anyways, all right, all right. Stacey just jumped on this call. Before we just jump into everything, why don't we give Stacey a big applause? She got her first escrow.
Thank you guys.
If I could, because I just think this
Congratulations.
will help, like with everything that we are all working on, whether we have people who are working on selling their 20th home, their 10th home, or maybe their third home or their first home. Stacey, just to help inspire all of us, motivate us, because it is a tough market right now. Who was the buyer, and if you can just give us like maybe what was the list price, where did you come in at, and what didn't you know that in your first early 72 hours of opening escrow?
Um, so my buyer is a TikTok lead that came in
That's
through
right.
TikTok, and then started showing him homes and stuff. Well, it was kind of like he was seeing that like homes were flying off the market, so we went to check out this home that was slightly over their budget. Luckily, when we went there, I had already called the agent and I let him know I was going to be at his open house, so he was expecting us. Kind of like what you said, building rapport with him and stuff. And then
Hmm, hmm.
um, it was listed at 725, and then we because he mentioned the agent when we were there at the open house, he said, I told the owner we should list it for nine uh 695 or something like that. I was like,
Hmm,
boom,
hmm.
right there. He knows the comps
Yep,
aren't there. I went home,
yep,
did the comps. I also was like, okay, because they were leaving appliances, I was like 710 is good. So we
yep,
submitted for 710. He said, we'll hold on to your offer, but we're gonna do another round of open house to see if anything else comes in.
yep.
So we pulled our offer during that time because we started placing offers on other homes.
You
So
rescinded it.
yeah, we did.
You said we're rescinding our offer since you're not going to present it
Yeah,
and you want to wait for, wow, aggressive.
yeah. So we
Was
pulled
that
our
Patty's
offer.
suggestion or how did you think of that?
That was just me. I don't know. Because my
Okay,
clients were like, "Oh, well, if they
fair
don't
enough.
want to take it, we'll just," and we were already placing other offers. So
Yep.
we just pulled it. And
Okay.
then I was kind of like watching it as time went on, and I know my clients really liked it. And then they did a price reduction because I guess that open house weekend didn't do well. So it did two
Hmm,
weekends.
hmm,
Nothing came in. They did a price
hmm,
reduction, 15K at 710, what I had offered originally.
hmm.
So then we offered 710. They said, okay, we'll hold on to this again. We're gonna wait this weekend, see if anything comes in. Supposedly something came in at 720 the last minute on Sunday. Two other offers came in. So they asked
Lies.
if we could, yeah, I figured. So
Yep.
they asked if we could come up, and they're like, look, you don't even have to beat the other offer. If you just come up, we want to work with you. We know you guys have wanted the house. So yeah, I talked to my clients. They came up 10K to 720, still 5K under what they originally wanted for the price. But yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So let me just get this straight. So you're in escrow at 720.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And then this came from TikTok. And are they occupying the residence or
Yeah,
are
they're
they,
occupying the residence. Yeah.
this is a primary?
Yeah, this is their primary, yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. Terrific. And how many homes did you show them and how many offers did you write?
I showed them so many homes. Like maybe in fact they actually told me they didn't want South LA at all. That they are from South LA, they wanted to move away. So I showed them everything under the sun away from South LA.
Yep.
Carson, everywhere. Compton. But this home is a block from her current house. So I think it's just comfort one in the end.
Yep.
And
That's right.
that was the home that she wanted. I kept, like yeah,
Okay.
I guess yeah, I was trying to be like yeah, numbers and stuff like that. It just wasn't getting to them. There was more of like an emotional buy
Got it.
kind
And
of
who's
yeah.
doing the loan?
Hugo.
Oh, very cool. Okay, terrific. Okay. Anybody have any questions before I jump in and kind of talk about negotiations a little bit? Any more context? Everyone got it? All right. When when you offer a number and then I like the play that you rescinded it. It's very aggressive. It's a nice play though. Definitely sets the like who they're working with. I'm really surprised the agent didn't call you back when they did a price reduction, knowing that your offer came in at 710 and then they reduced it to 710. Or did he? Did he or she call you and say, hey, we're doing a reduction. Are your clients still around?
No, he didn't because they had other offers
Okay.
at 710 when we had offered. Yeah.
They did?
Yeah.
Or is that that's what he told you?
Yeah, well, that's what he told me. Yeah.
Because
I'm
see, this is the
assuming
part, everyone, where the negotiations, the words are not matching the outcome. Why would you reduce it to 710 if you have offers at 710, including you, Stacey? So you're
yeah,
one of two, one of three is the way he's playing his poker hand.
he said that
So
the
he's at 725, offers are coming in at 710, two or three. I'm going to reduce it to 710. But he's got two or three already supposedly at 710. One for sure, Stacey for sure. You're at 710. I don't know if there's an offer two or an offer three, even though he said that. See how it just doesn't make sense?
yeah, and then he said that the owner wanted 715, that was their like
Of
number.
course they do. I
Yeah.
get it. My client wants it at 710 also. So what do we do? That's why they hire you. That's why they hire him. You guys are not at 715, 710. Here's the way I want you to play it next time.
Yeah.
When you come back to the table, you do not submit anything in writing. You verbally call them and say, look, Bob, my client is still interested in your property. I noticed you reduced it to 710. Just curious, why didn't you call me back, or why didn't you want to try to put the deal together since you reduced it to what you already had an offer for? And I think you also said when we spoke last week, you had another offer at 710. What happened to that buyer? And watch him trip over his feet. The story's not going to make sense. You're basically calling him out on his bluff. So here's the deal. The good news is my clients are still interested in your home. The bad news is they're not going to pay a penny over 710. Are your clients ready to open escrow with my clients if we were to go ahead and rewrite our offer at 710? You don't give them anything until you get a verbal commitment that the sellers are in. Because what happens is when you just come in and you give him 710 and then he played you. I don't want to say played you, but he got you up another 10
It
grand.
it honestly, it felt like that. It felt like because then he called me and he said,
It's
"Hey,
okay.
congratulations, we want to go with you." And then the other agent sent me an email saying, "Oh, we wanted you to come up more." And it was like, "What? The other guy already told me that I got it." So it was just like, "What?" They weren't
So there's two
working.
agents working for the seller.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm
Yeah.
hearing? They're partners?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So you can see one's a little bit more of a savvy negotiator and the other one who's trying to consummate a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't like in agreement either, so it was
Right.
just like yeah.
Right.
So that's
So
where I was like,
he's
"Oh my god." Yeah, it was really hard to like believe, but my
okay.
clients had just got another home that we had placed an offer on. They lost it to another house that bid way more than us. So they were
Yep.
just like, "Let's just do it to secure it." So they
Yep.
kind of were also feeling shaky because they had seen all the other offers that we had
Sure.
lost out.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to call off-record negotiations. Once the offers are submitted, team, just start doing the verbal negotiations when you see the pieces to this puzzle kind of shape up.
Okay.
Get
So,
what
okay,
you
that's a
want
really
for
good
your
tip.
client. You do not give them what they're asking for until you get what you want. You are in the power seat. They had to reduce the price 15 grand. They have egg on their face, and the sellers are finally coming to reality. And it's okay. Look, they wanted it. They countered you back. They told you there's another offer. I do believe they played it a little bit in their favor. Fine, no worries. As long as your clients are happy, that's all that matters. They did not want to lose it. You got in the house. Now, here's what I will say. And I'm not saying take this approach, but when you go on your inspection tonight, I think you can beat them up if you want to get them back. See, I'm very competitive in the
Yeah,
negotiations.
me
They
too. I
got me.
was like,
They
we'll get
got
them
me
back
this round.
around.
You got me on this round. I'll give you round one.
Yeah.
I'm getting you back in round two. Meaning, when the inspection comes back, still set it up that look. I just want you to know we are doing the inspection, and you do have the right to ask whatever you want. However, the sellers are not required to do any of it. They don't have to repair anything, and they don't have to give you any money back. So now, again, though, if there are code violations or safety concerns, yeah, we can go after it. And I don't know if they wrote it in the counteroffer. It's very common in this market. You may see in the counteroffer, seller will not make any improvements or any credits after the buyer's home inspection. Property to be sold as is. Very common. Now, remember, the purchase agreement also says that too. If you read it through, their offer is saying that you agree to purchase the property as is. Again, the consumer has the right to ask for whatever they want. And again, the sellers have the right to say no or yes. This is where you guys come into the picture. This is why they're hiring you. This is why we get paid the big bucks, supposedly. It goes back to the negotiations. So again, just setting up the expectation about what's going to happen tonight. And yes, you have the right to ask for that. And yes, they have the right to say no. I would say also, I'm going to stay the course and continue down this story that they told you that because there was another backup offer that offered 715, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, 720 supposedly.
Okay. I don't believe it's there, but you got to stay the
Yeah.
course with the story to keep your buyers in check to not get crazy and ask for a 15 or a $20,000 reduction. My fear is if we get too crazy or if we ask for too much, they're going to try to flush you out and they're going to go on with offer B, who's waiting right behind you to cancel. They're going to slide right in. So I share that because it's the fear of loss. Nobody wants to lose it. I'm not setting it up that you can't ask for anything. I just want them to see the full picture. This is choose your own adventure, right? If you do this, I think this is what's going to happen. If you do this is what's going to happen. Which way do you want to go? Because we agree that we don't think there is another offer behind the scenes, I bet you can get away with something around $500 to $7,500 in credit back. However, in order to get it, you're going to have a compelling case of whatever shows up on the inspection. If you're asking for, as an example, a water heater that is fully operational, but it's out of its life expectancy, not a good reason to ask for a credit for that. It's got to be something where the foundation has cracks or, something that's bigger. If you want, send it over. We'll look at it together tonight, tomorrow to put that case together. But I think if you really want to swing for the fences, I think you're gonna have to posture and it'll take time, but I think you'll get the sellers to break to get that $5,000 back or 7,500.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, that was kind of my
Don't
plan.
tell
And
your
I did,
clients this game plan though.
yeah, no, I did prep them. I did tell them like basically what Patty had told me was to say like, hey, yeah, well, they're gonna. I gave him the drip, basically, where like we can ask for A, B, and C. They'll usually only do D, C, and F or something. And then I was like, only big things that are like, non-negotiables that can break this deal. That's what we're gonna, And then they're like, yeah. So they're kind of they mentally know.
And don't forget, there's a backup offer waiting in the wings to take your place. You always got to share that because it keeps them in check.
Yeah. To be honest,
But
I
still,
didn't realize like purchasing a home was more emotional than anything for people.
wait. Do you own a home? Have you bought one?
No.
Okay.
Well, my parents
That's
own a
going to
home.
be
It
the
is very emotional, but I mean,
no.
yeah.
Well, look. And this is, I'm talking from my experience and many of those that are on this call that we've been working together with. When you buy your home on your own, you are going to become that much better of an agent because it's relatable. You're going to know exactly the stress and the uncertainty and the lack of communication from the lenders. Everything, the underwriters asking for the same document that the processor was asking for 72 hours ago. See, you guys don't hear all of this, but the buyers, your clients are the lender, and this is again why we set the expectation. Look, the loan process is going to be very messy. You're going to deal and talk to 10 different people aside from Hugo. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to ask for the same documentation 24 hours later because your file goes to this desk, then it goes to this desk, then it goes to this desk, and the left hand does not communicate to the right hand. You would think because they're all from Bank of America, they all know what they're doing. They don't. It goes from desk to desk to desk. So you're going to constantly give them the same paperwork. So I'm just letting you know that way you don't throw it away or file it away or tell me, Scott, these people are crazy. This is bullshit. I'm not doing this. That's my uncle. My uncle's like, Scott, this is a joke. I'm not sending the same document. I'm like, uncle, you just got to do it. Send it to me and I'll send it. He says, Scott, this is, do they know who I am? Do they know that I own this company? I'm like, it doesn't matter. They don't give a shit. It doesn't matter because he's stubborn like that. So my point is you got to set the expectation because they're going to think otherwise. And you're going to figure this all out when you each buy your own house. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah, also just
It's
like
different.
how I showed them a million homes under that number two in nicer areas, but ultimately just I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know why that home, but yeah, I don't know. I just
Yep.
that
Okay.
was the most shocking thing to me was like, whoa, like it's really all emotional in the end, like what feels like
Yep.
home. Yeah, it doesn't
Yep.
matter like areas, numbers, yeah.
Well, here's the crazy part too. Out of all the millions of homes you showed them, now that you're in escrow, this is where you're going to earn your check. Showing them all the homes, and believe it or not, writing the offer, negotiating the offer, getting them into escrow is the easiest part of the entire process. It's getting it across the finish line and getting the keys in their hands is the most difficult part because this is where the 186 tasks that it's going to are required to cross that finish line, you are in control of maybe 10% of the process. Because now you have lenders and underwriters, title reps, escrow officers, home warranty, home inspector, all these things come into play that the only thing your clients are looking at is you. Unfortunately, we are the ones that carry the burden, the weight, the responsibility of everyone's actions. That's again, I know I'm saying redundant, but that's so important why we have to explain what is happening next. So if you don't know, this is the part where we need to role play together because they don't know what they don't know, and nobody likes surprises. People like options. They like options. They don't like to be told what to do. And by the way, I need an answer in like 10 hours. It's very aggressive. It's very stressful. And that's usually why buyers pull out is for the unknown. There's too many moving parts that they don't know about. And if they're a high D and they like to control the narrative and they don't and they feel lost, they're going to pull out and retract back to safety. That's why deals do not cross the finish line. Okay. So, so buckle up. you're gonna get hit a lot of turbulence. You know, we're all here to support you, Patty, as well. But just one step at a time. Tonight's the home inspection. Go with it. Tomorrow, let's look at the report, put a strategy together, and give yourself time to look. This is the dialogue you're going to tell your clients after today. You know, look, there's going to be things wrong with the house. We already can agree with that. So don't get too nervous. Let's just take time to read through it. I'm going to read it. You're going to read it tomorrow by, let's just say, I don't know, 5 o'clock. Can we agree now to then get back together on Zoom? And then let's share our thoughts. I want to know what comes top of mind for you. And I'll tell you, and I'll share what I see or stands out. And I'll tell you what I think is possible and what may not be possible. Does that sound good? Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Okay, terrific. So let's just take tonight and then read through it tomorrow. Now at 5 o'clock, when you get the report, you're already gonna have your ducks in a row. You're already highlighting through the report that the items that you believe that stand out for you based on Patty and myself to help you with that. And then you're gonna have a strategy of what does that dialogue sound like. And then you're gonna also recognize what you think they're always gonna, or they're also going to ask for. And then you're gonna come up with a plan in your mind on how you're going to talk about and around it, because they're going to talk about GFCIs. They're going to talk about, you know, the fire rated door to the garage, to the interior. It's an interior door and it should be a fire rated door. Are they going to replace it? Probably not. So again, kind of just getting your ducks in a row to have this conversation. And then after that, it's seller disclosures, NHD, appraisal, all of that other stuff, but we'll worry about that later. Does that sound good?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds
All right.
good. Thank you, Scott.
All right. Questions or thoughts as we're kind of just navigating through this process together? Anyone doing anything else that might be a tip or helpful, or anything that we went over, you know, talked about now that maybe was an aha moment for you that you would incorporate? All right.
I do want to say, Scott, when you mentioned about the report, and one of the things I do with my clients is I let them know that the inspection report comes like coded and color coded, like the red, the yellow, and the green. So I tell them, so the inspector is going to suggest, right? He's just going to give you a suggestion based on the color. So the red one will be more like, those are the things that need immediate um I say attention,
Mm-hmm.
or it's something that you're gonna either have to fix now, right, or the soonest that you can. And then the yellow one it will have a little more, you can have more time to think about how you want to repair it. And the the green,
So
obviously, good.
if I'm a buyer, I want you to role play with me. Oh, okay. So what you're saying then, if it's in red, we should be asking for that for the seller. They should fix that or credit me back for that.
No, no. So it means
Oh,
just that's how the report's gonna come up. You're gonna see the red stuff, which is what the inspector is going to point out. And so that doesn't mean that it's some. I always tell them the inspection, it's for them to know the condition of the home, right?
okay.
And the
Got it.
inspector is suggesting that this is the stuff that needs to be fixed the soonest, you either now or after close of escrow, right?
Got it.
But again, we do go over the stuff. I mean, we're not going to ask for everything, obviously, but I do let them know that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll get to your question 1 second. So here, you brought up a good point. So here is, again, setting the expectation. Look, it's the inspector's responsibility to disclose anything and everything that they see may or may not be an issue for you.
Mm-hmm.
They are writing anything and everything down to release themselves of any liability. Make sense? So that's why this report is 50 pages long instead of 10. They are going to disclose anything and everything that they see, test, or witness on their own, because they have to release themselves of all liability. And that's why when Norma says if something is in red, what is the common disclosure? Inspector recommends a licensed and bonded electrician for a further evaluation. That's them releasing themselves. I see it, I tested it, it doesn't work. However, I'm not a licensed and bonded electrician. I advise you on this report to go in. If it's important to you, go hire a third party electrician and have them give you their professional opinion. This is their way of releasing themselves, because if you haven't been in a lawsuit yet for something that went wrong, you probably will, because the more houses you sell, the bigger the target on your back, and your buyer will drag you and the inspector, and they're going to say, well, the inspector didn't say this or didn't say that. This is why they have on every line item they find, inspector recommends a third-party inspection by a licensed and bonded roofer to satisfy yourself. That's their release of liability. So when you say that, it's allowing you to set the expectation. That's why this report, they have to disclose everything.
Yeah.
It may not be a level 9 or a 10 for us or for you, but they have to do that. That's why you hired them, for them to find these things. So that
Scott.
way, when you
Oh,
move into
sorry.
your house, you can get that fixed later on based on the color codes that Norma's talking about. What's up?
Should we order a roof inspection even though nothing's come up on the report yet, just in general, or just wait for the report?
If you're the buyer asking me, I would say, it's a great question, Stacey. I would probably hold tight. Let's see what Ray says once he gets on the roof. Let's see what Ray says once he gets in the attic. If he can see sunlight coming through the attic during certain spots, I probably would suggest getting a third-party inspection by a licensed roofer. But I don't think you need to do that now. However, I do, regardless of what Ray sees or finds, I would recommend a sewer inspection from the house to the main public line in the street. In LA, that's like it's not required, but every agent will get that or advise their client to do that. In Long Beach, I started doing that probably 8 years ago once I had 2 issues of a main drain backup and flooding my clients for home with sewage because the line is backed up. So for all of you on this call, I highly recommend third-party license inspection, and straight out of the gates, get a main sewer inspection from the house to the street, and they'll do a camera so you can negotiate that in your request for repair. Long Beach is notorious for having tree roots go right through the pipes and everything gets blocked up. And usually every 80%, 75% of homeowners usually get those hydrojet or snaked every year, once a year, to keep it clean. But truly, they should be repiped. All right. What about putting pressure at the appraisal? They don't think it's going to comp at 720. Tell me more, Alma. Where is this in the negotiations? Are you able to talk?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, yeah, I was on the other line. But yeah, no,
Oh,
I was listening in and I heard Stacey say that, he was very apparent at the open house that it wasn't gonna appraise at 690, that they thought it was gonna appraise at 690. She said she pulled her comps and it was lower as well at 710, like 7 something, 710. I mean, yeah, when you guys were talking about her putting in the offer and her agreeing to come to 720, I instantly thought, okay, why go up? You're negotiating against yourself because you already pulled the comps, and he already said it wasn't going to appraise. He thinks it's worth
yeah.
690. So,
Oh, he didn't mention appraisal. He just
Well,
said he was just talking about the comps. Because the
well,
highest
here's
comp
what
is
happens.
695.
yeah, so the appraiser is going to do the same thing, right? Pull the same comps, and sometimes he's
I
going to
see.
ask, "Why do you think you're listing so high?"
The challenge is, though, there is phantom buyer B at 715. That's the story that he or she was playing against Stacey.
Yeah. So I guess
So
I would have went to
remember,
the agent. I guess I would have went to the
mhm,
agent and said, you don't think it's going to appraise, and then say, I mean, I've done this before and I've said, I can come up to whatever you want me to come up to. I can come up to list. But then we have to sit down and have that hard conversation and say, if it doesn't appraise, what is your seller willing to do?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a good tip. Yeah.
Just my suggestion though, you can have that conversation up front. The goal though is to get an acceptance and then cross that bridge later. Because if you get too into a negotiation of a hypothetical that may never happen, meaning the appraisal might just come in at 720, it's water under the bridge. But if you don't get the deal accepted, you'll never be able to know. So if you're the only offer, have that value conversation and try to get that negotiation to where you want your buy or wherever your buyer wants to go. But when there's multiple offers, all bets off. Appraisal value doesn't matter. We're back to supply and demand.
So if it doesn't appraise, that would also just be another negotiation point, hopefully.
One of three things. Seller's going to reduce to the appraisal price. Buyer's going to come up to the original contract price that they agreed to. Three, maybe there's a happy medium that you guys can create a split the difference. Or four, it's going to cancel. Definitely, if you know the appraisal is in question, do not remove the look. No one on this call should be removing appraisal contingencies, period. That's just my thought. I don't think any property is worth it. In the time, in the heat of the moment, I know the buyers are saying this is my dream house, don't lose it. I still would never advise them to remove the appraisal contingency because if they don't have the money to bridge the gap, or when it happens, they say what they want, but based on experience, when it does happen, they're like, I ain't paying a penny. I mean, it's a weird conversation.
This is all really helpful. Thank you guys for your tips.
Yeah. And, look, I just want to reiterate again, we've been kind of turning it up and really understanding the Zillow behavior, the profile of a Zillow buyer. And this is probably all internet buyers. When it's not SOI, again, we're not trying to deceive or persuade or push anyone into anything, but you do need to be a little bit more as a matter of fact with them because they're giving you an opportunity to help them. But because they found you on the internet, they think that there's plenty of agents right behind you if you can't get the job done. And they're going to go to another direction. So, that's where I'm coming from, Alma, where the value, I'm not saying overpay for a home, but if they play the card that there's multiple offers, I've got to communicate that to my client. Say, look, there's another offer at 715. I know they reduced it to 710. Someone came in at 715. If you want it, they're telling you you need to come in at 720. It's up to you. Well, Scott, what about the value? You said a week ago when we first submitted, you saw the value at 695. I totally get it. I did say that. And I also did say in this market, it is a seller's market and it's coming down to supply and demand. Property values go out the window if someone is willing to pay 715. If you don't want to compete in this market, you don't have to. But there is someone that offered 715. And if they decide to pass on 720 or 718 or whatever they need to do to win the deal, and they say, you know what, I'm not going to do that, then I'm going to definitely have that fierce conversation. Say, I was just reflecting back on the negotiations last night, and I understand that you didn't want to go to 715 or 720 because you said specifically that you didn't want to overpay. I totally get it. I may not either. I'm not sure. I'm not in your situation. But if you want to compete in this market, I can say the three other escrows that I have in escrow, just like you buyers, we're all over list price. In fact, you would be pressed to find any listing that sold at or below list price in the last 90 days.
Yeah, they're actually oddly enough happy because it was listed originally at 725 and they didn't want to pay over list price because they kept seeing that for other houses, 50K over list price. So when they saw this one, they didn't even want to see it in person because they're like, oh, what if we like it too much and we can't go over this price? So the fact that it's under 5K from the original price, they're like happy about that. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm kind of just going with that, hoping, but
Isn't that crazy to think though, too, that how buyers' perception, just because of what a seller listed it at, is
yeah,
almost they're translating that as that's the value of the house.
yeah,
And so psychologically, they don't want to pay over that, and they feel that they got a deal at 720 because it was listed at 725. But you and the other agent said, gosh, the
this is
value is really
overpriced.
695.
Yeah,
See, again, just demonstrating, I just want to highlight that the consumers don't know what you know. That's where the value comes in for you guys to take the authoritative position to help paint this picture, this coloring it in so they can understand all of the things that maybe they don't know. And if you take that little tidbit and you apply that towards the inspection, they definitely don't know how that part works. They definitely think, well, shit, this thing is leaking water under the shower and under the house. It's wet. Why wouldn't the sellers fix that? Like, to them, that's a no-brainer. Maybe they don't know, though, that the seller actually did investigate it and they figured and realized that it's the shower pan that's leaking, which the shower pan is underneath the tile. And in order to replace that, you got to break all the tile down in the shower to remove the pan, to hot mop it, replace the pan, and then put tile over it. So what you thought was a quick plumbing fix with a pipe, it's not. It's a whole new bathroom remodel that is over $10,000. That's the flip side of it. A lot of different, a lot of different things going on.
Yeah, another thing that Michelle and I do too when we're working with buyers is, I know Scott had said you obviously don't get crazy with the inspection, but when I'm sending over like my request, I do inflate the price a bit more, only because I know, like, say if it's like 10,000, I'm gonna probably go up to 12,000, 13,000, and that's just my way of actually getting the 10 grand for them to come down, because they're not gonna give me what I'm asking for. They're gonna want to give me half of that or nothing, or I'm gonna try to negotiate something, right? And I'm gonna write like this is a hazard, and kind of make it like it's some crazy thing. So I think you have the upper hand right now, even though you did come above the 710 that he said it would appraise at, but I think you came at 710 because of the appliances. So I think regardless, in the negotiation of the inspection and the appraisal, you do have the upper hand for your buyers. And I think you can probably get it down to 700 or 710 eventually.
Yeah. You're just gonna, like Jasmine said, though, you're
that's
gonna have to have a compelling case. You're gonna
okay.
have to pick
Yeah.
out good items. You can't ask for, again, the wallpaper or replace. You can't look, everyone on the call, if you haven't sold a house yet, you can't ask for things that are an improvement.
Mhm.
Like
Meaning
cosmetic, right?
cosmetic preferences, color, shag carpet, wallpaper, pink color, the pink walls, the Formica countertops. I want granite. Those are, it has to be something that is impeding the structure, the use of whatever it is. You can't ask for, like, if you can't ask for rain gutters. The houses, I mean, unless you're in Orange County, they don't build. I mean, now I guess all new houses come with gutters, but they didn't in the 60s. You can't ask if the house doesn't have an HVAC unit and you want an AC. I get it. That's an improvement, though. The house wasn't built with a HVAC. It didn't have it. That's an improvement. You can't ask for that. You can ask for it. You're going to get shot down. Until the pendulum swings to the other side and it becomes a buyer's market, you got to kind of just take your medicine. A water heater out of life expectancy, but it works. If it's still kicking in hot water at the temperature that the inspector says to deem within that range, you could ask for it again, though, but it works. So what I tell my clients on that is, well, look, I know it's you know, it's on year 18 and the life expectancy was 15 years, 3 years over. Let's see what the transfer disclosure statement says, or the seller's property, the SPQ. If the sellers disclose that the hot water is intermittent, then maybe we have a case. But if they don't disclose anything, then it's working just fine. It's going to be hard for us to get that. And by the way, we do have a home warranty plan in place that we did negotiate. I negotiated on behalf that the seller is paying for. So if the water heater does take a dive when you do take possession, you know, my girl Brandy will probably hook us up. But Scott, the roof though, he said the ridge caps are showing a lot of wear and tear. And the roof and the shingles, there's not much asphalt on it left. He said it's a 20-year roof and it's probably on year 24. Yeah, I know, I get it. Let's see what the seller property questionnaire says in the transfer disclosure statement. If the sellers have had a past water leak or they disclose something that has been an issue, I think we have a case here. But if they don't disclose anything, I think it's going to be tough to do. If they say, but I want that, no problem. I'm gonna swing for the fences. Let me see what I can get for you. Using Jasmine's technique, I'm gonna say, look, maybe I'm gonna be able to get $3,500 off just to get you some money back to make you feel comfortable. I'm gonna ask for 7, but the expectation in my experience, you should be counting on maybe I'm gonna be able to get 3,500. I mean, that's my goal, but I'm gonna ask for 7. If I was successful in that negotiations with that, would you be happy about that? I'm getting their buy-in before I swing for the fences. I got to make sure that we're on the same page, because when I get the 3,500 and they go, well, Scott, I wanted $8,000. There's no going back. You cannot go back and renegotiate that. So when you are setting the strategy with your clients, you want to make sure that we get their acceptance and their buy-in. If I can get this, would you be happy? And they say yes. Then you know exactly what you need to do. All right. Well, I can only see Rachel and Liz, so I don't know if everyone's fallen asleep on me here. We're still there. You guys are scrolling. So unless anyone has any questions,
I
or if this
wonder,
was helpful.
Stacey, are you advertising on TikTok, or did they just see like a video talking about real estate?
Just the reels that I post of like homes and stuff. There was like a duplex one. For what duplexes do numbers from what I've noticed on when I post it. But yeah, it's just what I post on Instagram, I'll post on TikTok too.
Good
Just
job.
like just like the reels.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. I have to be more
You know,
consistent though, because once I stopped it slowed down. Yeah.
okay. So look, that's because all your energy is servicing this client now, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
talking 120% of your focus is on this baby, right? And you're
Yeah.
taking it down this. I know what you're going through right now, and I know it's very stressful. Just know you have support around you, but you got to post another video today and tomorrow
Okay.
and the next
Okay.
day,
Okay.
because you have momentum on your side. You got to double down now, and your goal is to get another escrow before this one closes. And why that's so tough for agents is because all of our attention is focused on this one escrow. But when it closes, if you don't have another one ready to go, everyone knows how the momentum, you're back up that bike, trying to ride up that hill again and starting this process all over again. Ride the wave and do everything that's 10 times easier when you have one in the hopper.
Okay.
Double down. In fact, maybe a great story might be, hey, I posted this duplex video and I met this great client, Mr. Just make up a name. And I'm excited to say we looked at 5 or a million homes or however many you looked at. And I'm so excited that this is the house that we found for them. And we're in escrow, and ideally in the next 21 days, I'm going to be able to hand the keys off to them. Stay tuned and check out that video. Hopefully it's coming in the next 3 weeks. Story tell the process so people can visually see what it looks like to work with you. You are successful, you get results, and your clients are in escrow that watched a video just like this 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, and then to add on to that too, it's about that hook, like especially with TikTok. If you post like, oh, below list price, it blows up. Like right now I have one on TikTok and I got 10 consults from it. And I think if you just like keep posting and you have that good hook, you'll like close more off of TikTok. Like, yeah, some leads are bad, right? But I think that's with everything with Instagram. You're
Yep.
gonna have like the funnel, right? Bottom of the funnel, top of the funnel. But yeah, if you have momentum on your side right now, I definitely keep posting and not get too distracted with, not to put too much energy into your escrow. Continue to, like lead generate, because that's how you're gonna keep going and close more deals.
Yep. Yep. You just had a breakthrough moment and you just raised the bar on Stacey's standard. The standard right now for Stacey is one escrow at all times. You've done it, you've proven it to yourself. Go get another one. We are not going backwards and going to go silent for the next 3 or 4 months. You have to do what put you in this position today. Double down and go do another one. If you find an open house and you get them in escrow, you need to schedule your next open house. Right now, this is all a proof of concept for you. Hopefully, the veterans are expressing that this is exactly what we did too. We know what you're going through. And I'm talking to myself as I educate. What I did not do was do more of it. Because when you get to 2, Stacey, that's the new standard. And 3 and 4 and 6 a month. It's all possible. And that's when we start to scale and hire showing assistants and buyers agents. Don't get comfortable staying comfortable at 1 a month or 2 a month. We're building a business and we're going after the unknown. All right. Good stuff. Thanks for
Thanks
letting
for
us
all the
talk
tips,
this
guys.
through. Yep, this is very helpful. I know for myself, hopefully for everyone else. It is Wednesday. It's 9:30.
Very helpful.
Hopefully I'll see you guys today at 11 o'clock. We have another office meeting. And Zillow Flex went live today. So everyone, if you're ready to test out, I've got Rachel's ready to go. So as soon as the lead flows turn up, Rachel's getting thrown in. She's on the bench waiting. Who else do I have on here? Adriana's in right now. Other than that, I don't have anyone on the bench. So I know a lot of you have been plugging in. So again, just a quick recap. You got to do the Zillow Academy. You got to learn ALMSS, and hopefully all these other things. Because again, the Zillow aspect of it is only 10% of it. Then it's the other 90% that hopefully all of this is kind of resonating and coming together. The best way to find out, though, is to just get thrown in the fire. You just got to do it. So if you're ready to test out, hit me up, and Venus, myself, or Syke, who's on the call. We're going to just randomly call you, and it's going to be, hey, Liz, I've got Syke on the line who's interested in 123 Main Street. Is this something you want to work with? Yes, it is. Okay, I'm going to connect you now. And then, boom, you're going to go, hey, Syke, it's Liz, your Zillow Premier Agent with Circle Real Estate. How are you today? And you're going to go right into ALMSS. All right. Good. All right. All right, y'all. I'll see you in a couple hours.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Scott. Bye.